Well, hello everyone. As you can see, we're once again back out in the shop. Today is such a beautiful day that I went ahead and decided that I would go ahead and apply some more epoxy to the forward starboard side of the hull, which we'll get over there here in a minute. Today, though, the temperature is almost perfect. It's right around, at least in the shop it says, it's probably around, I don't know, 65. 64, somewhere in there. So that's good because the epoxy requires at least 55 degrees to set up, and that needs to be 55 degrees continuous for 2 hours. So that's really important. And since we beat that mark in spades, I figured why not go ahead and get some work done today. So here in a minute, I'm gonna take you over to the epoxy station, which is right over there, and I'm gonna show you how to mix up a batch of epoxy. Well, this is my epoxy station. As you can see, it's a bit of a cluttered mess, and I feel that that's how I best operate. That's a bit of a lie. I just am not the organized, neat freak type. You have my father to blame for that. So anyways, this is the resin, and this is the hardener. Epoxy being a two-part system, you add the resin and the hardener, and that basically creates a chemical reaction that turns it into a glue that dries and hardens, in this case to create a waterproof seal. This stuff is a 3-to-1 mixture, which means it takes 3 squirts of the resin and 1 squirt of the hardener to get the correct consistency. So once that's done, once you have your squirts in your bucket, you're going to mix it up first, and then you apply your various thickeners. In this case, it's going to be the talc and of course the Cabosil. Now the Cabosil we're not going to use a whole lot of because it's very hard to sand, but it does thicken a lot better than the talc. So that's why we're going to do that. And I'm going to mix up a batch real quick, and you will get to see the basically the mixed product, kind of what we're going for. Well, as you can see, we've mixed our epoxy, and it's approximately the consistency of peanut butter. There's a little unmixed talc in there, but you can kind of get the idea. But that's it right there. That's what we're going to want. And what we're going to do with it, since it's of that nice thick consistency, is to apply it to some of the low spots here, like right here. Maybe a little bit right in here, right here, and so on and so forth until we get a pretty flat surface. And it's got that nice line, this line, all the way back, following the chine, all the way back to the transom. So that's the idea. That's what we're going to try to do. And we're going to let it sit for about, anywhere between 8 and 24 hours, depending on how quick it wants to set up, and that's going to depend on how well I mixed it, the temperature, the fillers, a myriad of stuff. So that's what we're going to do now with our nice thick epoxy mixture. If you were going to glue 2 members, you wouldn't want to use something quite that pasty. You'd want it to be a little bit thinner, but you'd need a lot more of it because you don't want to glue starved joint. So once again, this is something to consider because right now we are doing what would be considered like body work on a car. But for boat purposes, it's called fairing down, which means you're filling in low areas, high areas, and sanding. So that's where we stand at present. Well, here we are after application. And like you can see, I've gone ahead and tried to smooth that line out and smooth that nice gooped up epoxy into all those wibbly wobbly areas along the forward part of the bow here, what like I said will be the starboard side of the forward bow. She's coming along pretty nicely, and I'm pretty pleased with that. Once again, when this dries, I'll go ahead and get my handy dandy sanders out and we'll go to town. Once again, fairing, which means, sanding it down so that she's flush. So until then.